Alright, so I'm going to do a little video today. I've done a very similar to a video to this a little while ago, but somehow I lost the video, so I wanted to redo it. It's going to be on the Russian-built semi-automatic SKS firearm. This particular firearm was made in 1950 in Russia in the Tula armories. When I bought it, it was brand new. The bluing inside was still all fresh, no scratches on it, so I could tell that it was just packed in the grease back in the day, and it would never saw action. And then they unpacked them and they were able to sell them in Canada at one point in time. I picked up this particular firearm a few years ago. It's fun for target practice. It's a very powerful gun. It holds 5 rounds in the magazine. In Canada, being a semi-automatic center fire, the magazine has to be pinned off to only hold 5 rounds. So that being said, before we get started, remember safety is the #1 priority. I've already removed my trigger lock. It's out of the way for now. I believe all firearms should have a trigger lock or a cable lock. Maybe even remove the firing pin before storage, whether it's in a gun safe or not. Now that being said, you want to make sure that your firearm is always pointed in a safe direction. And the first thing we're going to do is safe check it. So we're going to want to open up our magazine by pulling this little latch. It just pops open. As you can see, there's nothing in there. We'll pull back the carrier and the bolt. We'll look inside and there's nothing in there. Now, to disassemble this gun and reassemble this gun, it shouldn't take any more than 5 minutes total. It might take me a little bit longer because I'm going to walk through it and label off the parts as best I can. Now, to get started, we're going to go to the end of the gun here. There's a little door. I don't know if you can see it so well. You open it up, and out pops this little kit that has a couple of tools inside. Now, this thing here, you can use as a muzzle guard. Just kind of slides on the end when you're cleaning your gun to protect your muzzle. I don't particularly use that because I clean from this way out. The parts I am going to use though, it also comes with a nylon brush. Don't need that. And a little cleaning jag. We don't need that today. But we do need the handle. It's got a couple of different size holes in here. And I'm going to take the poker. I'm going to put it through the medium hole. It won't come out the other hole, but now you have yourself a little T-tool, which is going to help to remove the trigger assembly when we get to that. So that being said, it's all prepped up. Safety up for being on. Won't fire. We're good to go. Now, the first thing I like to do on this gun is work on the top side. We have a little latch right here. We lift it up to the 90 degree, pull it straight out. That'll release our receiver cover. And then we can pull out the carrier spring, keeping in mind that the one end that inserts in is the curly end, not the straight end. Now once that's done, we can pull our bolt and our carrier back. That simply pops out 2 pieces. This here is the bolt. It's just a free float bolt. There's no spring in there. And our carrier only goes together one way. I don't know if you can see that. So that's pretty straightforward and simple. Then we want to come a little farther up here. We got another one of these latches. It's right here. We're going to lift it up just enough to almost breach it. We're going to be able to lift up at that point our gas cylinder, and inside that is the gas cylinder piston. Now this part is very critical. You want to put your hand right on here, right up against this, because when we lift this little latch, the same latch up all the way, the piston extension and the piston spring are going to pop out. Now if you don't cover this when you open that, it's going to shoot across and become part of your drywall, and I don't know about you, but my wife wouldn't be too happy about that. So you can close this, get out of the way, flip our gun over. Now we want to come down here to the bayonet, pull the sleeve back, lift it up to the 90 degree. This thing here is your cleaning rod. It just lifts up out of the little pin on the end. Pull it out. Get that out of the way. We can pop our bayonet down to the full lock position. Now you come back here, you got your trigger group. I don't know if you can see it, but there's this little wee nub down here. It's got a little indent in it. Now we take that little tool that we put together earlier, and we just push into that little nub with the tool, and that releases the trigger group. It just pops out all in one piece. Now you can go farther and take this apart. I've never had to. Unless you're having problems with it, I wouldn't advise taking it apart. Just clean it, oil it up whenever you do your cleaning. Should be good to go. Once that trigger group is out, the magazine just lifts up, pops out. Pretty easy. Now that's pretty much it. Once that's done, you should be able to just detach your stock from the receiver. And there you go. It's all apart. Move the camera here, you could see a little breakdown of all the parts. Okay, so that's pretty simple, right? If I didn't explain all the pieces and just did it, quick, easy peasy, I would have been done in, no time at all. Reassembly is pretty much the same process, just in reverse. We lift our receiver up. The stock kind of will line up with this little piece here. Put it in. Attach the stock. We're going to take our magazine. It goes back in. We're going to take our trigger assembly, trigger group, whatever you want to call it. Goes in here, goes down, press it in place. That locks your stock onto your receiver. At this point, you might want to go ahead and pull the sleeve on the bayonet, lift it up to the 90, grab your cleaning rod, slides back in. The end just kind of slides into this little holder here, locks it in place, and then pull your bayonet down to the full retract position. Now we're going to come back up top. We're going to grab our gas cylinder piston, our gas cylinder, put the piston in. Now I like to make sure it comes out on the end here. It just makes it a little easier to put the piston into the receiver here. The end's going to line right up on here. Once that's there, you can push your piston forward. Lift your latch up, push it down. Oh, no, we did forget something. First thing we got to do is take the piston extension and the piston extension spring. Put that guy in first, or else, you're not going to have a very good firearm experience. There we go. I'll try that again. Bring this guy up, piston down. There, now it's all in place. You can put the latch down. That's all together. We're going to come up here, set the firearm down. We're going to grab our carrier and our bolt, attach them, put them together. Like I say, they only go together one way. I kind of hold it towards me. It's kind of hard to see here. But trust me, you just kind of can do it upside down if you want. It'll work. Slides forward, in place, good to go. We're going to take our carrier spring again with the curly end, put that in, slide it forward. This little latch, we're going to make it sure it's on the 90 and pulled out. Going to grab our receiver cover, slide it in, push this pin back in and push it down. And there you have it, back together. It's quite easy, quite simple. Well, that is the disassembly and reassembly of the Russian SKS. Have fun.